Well, today Cody and I are out in search of a Miwok Village that was near New Melones Reservoir and fairly close to Table Mountain. Right now we're down on Bear Creek, the upper parts of Bear Creek, and we found a nice rock formation here, so we were looking for bedrock mortars, but we haven't found any right here yet. Well, Cody and I are a little further down Bear Creek now, and we've come to this nice little waterfall. And off in the distance there, where the sun is hitting, you can see a nice large flat area. That could have been a village site. We'll go down there and check that out in a few minutes. Right now we're looking around at the rocks here to see if we can find any bedrock mortars. Haven't found any yet. Well, now I'm down at the bottom of the waterfall. Yeah, it's sort of a nice view from down here. And we're going to continue, Cody and I are going to continue our exploration here. See what we can find. Right over there, there's an old iron pipe. Can't tell for sure what that's from, but it's probably associated with some mining activity that occurred here a long time ago. Well, we made it through the steep waterfall canyon, and now we're into a more flat area, as you can see, but there's still some nice bedrock here, and so perhaps we'll have more luck finding some mortars on the bedrock that's in this area. Well, up ahead is where Bear Creek enters this sort of large meadow area. It's relatively flat. Looks like a really good place for a village to be. You get the water source, of course, and then there's some interesting rocks up there. That's what we're going to have to check out, see what's around those rocks. Now, normally this entire area would be underwater. New Melones would be covering this area. But because of the drought, it's now open for inspection. Although there's no trails here, and so it's sort of difficult going through the grass and the brush and the stickers, poison oak, etc. But hopefully we'll find something interesting down here. I found what might be a mortar right here. Let me zoom in a little bit. Has the right shape and the right size. It's filled with some residue right now. I'll clean that out and see if I can make a more positive identification. And relative to the stream, let me just pan up here. We're at a big pile of rocks, and that line going through the meadow, that's where the stream is. That's where Bear Creek is. Well, I've cleaned out what I thought was a bedrock mortar, and then I put a little bit of water in the mortar hole because the bottom definitely had all the characteristics of a bedrock mortar, nice and smooth and round. But I put the water in there just to give it some more contrast and also be able to show the shape of it real good. So I would say this is definitely a bedrock mortar. I'm standing on a rock right above this bedrock mortar that I cleaned out, and you can see very clearly. And I thought there was only one here on this rock, but take a look at this. See that growth of grass right there? And it's almost in a circular pattern if you look really close where it's growing out of the rock. And so I have a suspicion that that is also a bedrock mortar that's been filled up with dirt, and the grass is just growing in it. So what I'm going to do is pull out the grass and see if I was correct. Well, I was right. Here's a perfect example of a bedrock mortar that was hidden by a big clump of grass until I pulled it out. I'm going to squat down here, and you can take a look at that big root ball and dirt that was in the mortar where the grass was growing. And there's the mortar hole right there. Perfectly round, or almost perfectly round, and considerably deeper and a little bit bigger than the other one I initially found. Well, Cody and I are tired after our hike, but I don't think we're so tired that the buzzards think we're going to drop and die or something, although they do look sort of interested in us.